Hey everyone, it's Claire. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you're new to my channel, then thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. So this week I want to talk about how the first step to change is awareness. Awareness of what is and isn't working for you in your life. Now, that might seem totally obvious to you. You might know exactly what's not working for you in your life, and to which point I'd say that's awesome. That's amazing. But for others who may find themselves they're stuck and in a rut, or they've been living in autopilot mode for years on end, they may not have a clue as to what needs to change in their life. And I identify with that. When I was a workaholic many years ago, I lived in autopilot mode for years, and I didn't have a clue as to what exactly was dissatisfying me. So I think the first thing you need to do when you want to make changes to your life is to understand what your baseline is. So, what does your life look like now? What do you want it to look like in the future? And what's the step that's missing in the middle? So, in order to establish your baseline to understand what is and isn't working for you, I'm going to give you a very quick exercise that is part of my coaching program. So, grab yourself a pen and paper. And once you've done that, I want you to write down a few categories. So first category you're going to write down is career/business. The next category is going to be your love life or your relationship. The next category is going to be your health and well-being. The next category is nutrition. The next category will be the environment. I don't mean the environment outside, but I mean your environment, i.e., where you live and the location of where you live. The next category I'm going to get you to write down is your finances. The next category is going to be personal development. Personal development, i.e., how you are expanding yourself each year or how you're growing as a person each year. And finally, the next category I'm going to get you to write down is self-image. Once you've written all those categories down, I want you to review the last 12 months of your life and then grade each of those categories. So you're going to grade from 0 to 10. 10 being awesome, nothing needs to change. It's totally amazing, Claire. And 0 would be we need to make some major changes. And then anything in between. And now once you have graded each of those categories, I want you to ask yourself, what would I need to do to make it a 10 in each of those categories? Once you've completed that exercise, you should have a really good base understanding as to where you want to make changes in your life. So now that you've completed that exercise, you could ask yourself a couple of thought-provoking questions. So go back and look at your answers, and in any categories that you identified that you need to make changes, ask yourself, what has stopped you from making changes in those categories so far? What are your excuses? And are your excuses justified? Now, that's a tough question because quite often we want to blame someone else for not achieving our goals or for not being happy. But it's important that we go back and we look and say, okay, well, what are my excuses for not making changes? In my own case, many years ago, I used to lie to myself every single day and say I was going to go to the gym. And then when I didn't go, I would use the justification of I don't have time. But in reality, that was just an excuse because there's 24 hours in a day and 1 hour in the gym is only 4% of your day. I could have found a way to get to the gym, but I didn't. It was an excuse. So look at those categories and ask yourself, so what's my excuses for not making these changes so far? The next question that you can ask yourself is, how have I managed my time effectively over the last 12 months? Have I utilized all of my time properly, or have I done a lot of time wasting activities? Have I spent a lot of time watching TV, or have I spent a lot of time on social media or the internet? Ask yourself and answer honestly, have you used your time properly in the last 12 months? Okay, so you probably now realize I have a cat on my lap. This is my Zen master, and I call him Baloo. I've had to stop this video 4 times now because he keeps jumping on the desk and is insisting that he wants to join us. So I'm not going to fight it anymore. Oh, and now he's gone. Anyway, the next question I want you to ask yourself is, how can I hold myself accountable to make changes in the categories I identified need improvement? And the reason why I want you to ask yourself that question is because you cannot make changes to something that you're not committed to. And you also can't make changes if you don't take responsibility for needing to make those changes. So I want you to answer those questions for yourself, and then I want you to tune in next week because next week I'm going to talk all about how to take responsibility for making the changes in your life. Now, it could seem probably overwhelming. Now that you've completed that exercise, you might be feeling overwhelmed and think, my God, I've got lots that I need to change. Don't worry about that. I'm going to do videos for you every week for the next 56 weeks. I've got it all mapped out, and I'm going to help you make changes to your life so that you feel satisfied and you feel like you are empowered and you're living your best life. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And tune in next week. Have a great week. Take care.